Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox Show Live. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and today's show is a live Q&A, okay? And this is called COVID-19 Microcirculation in Avacen. Understand something. Yes, we're doing a show on an actual device. But as Einstein said, okay, that energy medicine would be needed in the future. Now, do you know why energy medicine is going to be needed in the future? Because it's going to have to offset all these what? Technological breakthroughs called phones, TVs, 5G, and everything else that's messing up our circulation. See, whether you believe this or not, we've got a lot of frequencies out there and it's destructuring all the fluid in the body. And when you destructure the fluid, guess what you get? You get constipated. Yeah, that's right. Constipated with your arteries, with your veins, your arterioles, your venules, your lymph vessels. They get jammed up, okay? That's what incorrect frequencies do. That's what an incorrect diet does. That's what incorrect thoughts do. We jam ourselves up and we block energy. Okay, so understand. Your lymph system, your circulatory system, and even your cells, they can become constipated, all right? And the reality is here is that the more that you have proper circulation, okay, and you increase the circulation, you increase the vibration, and that's why they're having so much luck with not just COVID-19, but with any type of viral infection, because a swamp is a swamp. And when you become a walking, talking swamp, then guess what? You attract bugs like a magnet. So that's the reality. So everything's about circulation. And if you notice something, compared to even 75 years ago, we're couch potatoes. Okay, we work sitting down. Okay, we go home and we sit down and we watch TV. But oh, wait a minute, on the way home, we're in our cars sitting down. We don't walk. We just don't get enough circulation. So that's the bottom line. And then we don't eat enough high vibrational foods. So what if we could actually do something that we could go home, put our hand into it, it heats up nice and warm, makes us feel cozy. It vibrates, because anything that vibrates really gently on the body can put you to sleep. But guess what? How would you like to put your hand in a device, and this device is called Avacen, where it will teach you how to put yourself back into a parasympathetic state? You think that's important? I don't know. What do you think? You think it's great being in a fear state like we are right now? This is the state of fear. Okay? Look at everybody. Okay? They're all locked up in their houses and the end of the world is coming, and it's not coming. The reality is this: you've got to really know how to master your mind, and most people don't know how to go from a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state. How would you like to have a device that's going to teach you? How would you like to have a device that's actually going to put you to sleep and be able to give you a good night's sleep? How would you like a device that's going to increase your microcirculation by 66%? There's no other device that can do it on the market. And the reality is this, okay? I know that there's things like Beamer. Beamer will do it about 31 to 33%, okay? All right? I know that device and how expensive it is. It's probably, let me see, and some of them are about 3 times the cost of what we're talking about. Double for sure. And then we've got Bioptron, which I use, which is probably the most powerful light because it's a full spectrum polarized light. And it can even shine down to the bone, but it can increase circulation like that. It'll increase circulation by 33%, where the Avacen will do it 66%. And we have stories for you, okay? We have so many case history files. So remember something, it's all about circulation. And understand, if you take a look in PubMed or look in any type of journals, they're not looking at telomeres. They're saying how good your microcirculation is going to depend on how long you live and how well you live, okay? So join me right now with Tom Muehlbauer, and he is the inventor, and we're going to be answering questions from people who sent in questions today. And also, you can send your questions in to us, okay? So by going underneath on Facebook, YouTube, or Intercom, send your questions in, and we'll answer them live right here today, all right? Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're having the best day of your life. And know something, okay? It's all about your mind. It's all about getting proper circulation. So please, love yourself well, everyone. Really take care of yourself, okay? All right. Hi, Tom.
Hello, doctor. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, actually, and I'm
You
so
got
glad
plenty of
that
energy.
I'm
Go
so
ahead.
glad I'm so glad that you came on today. And you may not know this, everyone, but um, Tom's being bombarded because of the success that they're having with the increasing the microcirculation and actually helping to get rid of the swamp. You get rid of the swamp, you get rid of the bugs. Am I right or wrong, Tom?
No, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, we just sent out today 12 pallets of machines. We have everybody's working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Excellent. That's so excellent. And I know that we're doing really well with them. And understand, everybody, and this isn't the play, so understand, but I'm going to say one thing. All right? Well, things are going on and we have Tom on. We are going to be offering $500 off on the Avacens, okay, for the next few days. All right? So let's move here to number one, Heike. Any experiences with white finger syndrome or growing pain?
Oh, not not that I know of.
But what about the
Um,
fingernails growing? Remember?
oh yeah, no, absolutely. I misunderstood your question. Yeah,
Okay. Well, I know,
no,
but if but I was just saying that if they've got white finger syndrome and you've got, tell them what it does for the growth of the fingernails. Okay.
okay, so from the studies that we've done, we show between 300% and 400% growth, nail growth. So, for example, if you're a 56-year-old woman and on the charts, you're supposed to grow 1/10 of an inch every 30 days, your nails are. We've shown that those nails will grow 1/10 of an inch in 6 to 7 days. Okay, so, and the importance of that is if your nails are growing like that and the nails are an external sign where you can actually see new cells created, because of course that's how your nails grow. The body creates new cells through the matrix, and the way the matrix, which is at the in the nail fold, is it needs oxygen and nutrients. And so if oxygen and nutrients is getting there and creating the nails to grow that fast, same with your hair, you can imagine what it's doing inside your body.
Excellent. All right. So Sherry from Facebook, I have had a hard time falling asleep at night and often wake up multiple times throughout the night for the past 2 months. Well, I can see why. I don't want to take any more sleeping aids or medications, but I'm exhausted. Would Avacen help me to get a better sleep?
Okay, so every year we do a customer survey, and the thing that always surprises me the most is the number one benefit that people rate the Avacen for is the ability to have quality and quantity of sleep every night. And so our clinically proven protocol is 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. You can change that as you get more used to the device and find out what works best for you. But by using the device before it's time to go to bed, uh, most people tell us they just sleep like a rock. A lot of people fall asleep with their hand in the device. So we had to go back and make sure it turned it off automatically a couple of years ago.
Thank you. Tim from Facebook. My wife had a tumor in her breast. They took the tumor out and they also removed 3 lymph nodes from under her arm. And now her arm is swollen constantly. What would the Avacen do for her? And because this is very uncomfortable and very painful.
Well, if you have swelling, it's usually or something like edema or anything else like that. You've got excess interstitial fluid. Now, if you look that we increase the microcirculation, which is actually we're eliciting capillary function. So the number one and number two and number three functions of the capillaries everybody talks about. That's increased oxygenation, increased nutrition to the cells, and removal of toxins. Well, if it's a toxin causing it, that could be an issue. But more importantly, the fourth function of the capillaries, because they have their own lymph system, is to get rid of excess interstitial fluid. And so there's a chance. I can't say for sure, but if it feels like you've got edema, uh, and you've got you need to get rid of that excess interstitial fluid. So I'm not going to say for sure, but likely it would help. It's not going to, I don't, doctor, you know this better than I do. I don't believe it's going to hurt.
Well, no, it's not going to hurt. The most that you're ever going to feel, because I can tell you right now, I haven't had like 10 people doing it. I think we've probably had over 100 women already doing this, or even more than that. And I can tell you right now, we have one woman with us right now. She's French, and she had a tumor. She still has the tumor, and we're working on the tumor doing non-surgical, and we're actually going around and actually with a Wolfe non-surgical, we're pulling the scar tissue apart, because you got to understand something. The bigger the block, the more you're blocked. Okay, the bigger the block, the more you're shutting down things. So what we did is we started, Tom, just pulling the fibroid apart around the tumor, and then by actually, she's tried so much to bring this down. So what we had her doing was we had her using the Avacen 3 times a day, and her arm would have been, Tom, probably about 40% larger, her left arm, than her right arm. Okay, and in no more than 4 or 5 days, and you have to look to see the difference now. So that's it right there. And I know, and I mean this in the best way. I know that our body work for scar tissue and for anything from hip problems to fibroids to endometriosis to deep scar tissue from surgery is the best there is. But the icing on the cake is the Avacen, because anything that's going to improve the circulation by 66% is going to be on our side, because when we're pulling everything apart, that means all these toxins want to go somewhere. And so what you're doing is now you're increasing the circulation to deliver them to where they need to go until that arm or that area of the body heals itself and becomes strong enough to do what it was supposed to do in the first place. Brenda, can this work for an 82-year-old man with spine issues?
Oh boy. Well, again, these are so specific to individuals, and I don't want to give medical advice because I don't know what's causing the problem in the spine. So if the spine issues are caused by tightness of muscles, which are also infringing on nerves, we're FDA cleared for muscular relaxation. So the answer would be, if that's causing it, absolutely. If it's caused by bone situations, maybe not so much. We have a lot of people with sciatic and back issues that claim our device does wonders for them. So I wouldn't worry about 82. My mom's 86 and uses the device 96, uses the device 3 times a day.
Can I give you another one, Tom?
Oh gosh, yeah, please.
Okay, and I gotta tell you that this is a lady that was just with us. She was from New York, and she had spinal stenosis, and they said that the nerve was dead in L4 and L5. And I have this statement that unless you cut something with a knife, or you were in some severe accident that cut it, it's never dead. So when they see it on an X-ray, they don't see the nerve, but the nerve is actually wrapped in scar tissue and calcium, so they can consider it gone. And I told her, you fly here, I'll give you a money back guarantee on the first treatment that we're going to make a change. So anyways, what we did is we went in there, and again, we did the Wolfe non-surgical, and we started pulling that apart. And I got to tell you something. We had her do, Tom, we had her actually use every 2 hours the Avacen. So she was using the Avacen 6 times a day, all right? And that's the whole thing. More the merrier with this. When you can use other instrumentation that I find, I've got other stuff here that it's not going to help if you do more, or it's going to be negative if you do too much. But with the Avacen, we're finding that the more we do, the nicer it is. And I haven't seen any healing crisis or Herxheimer's, and I think it's also because we have them on the perfect day and we're doing coffee enemas and things of that nature. But here's the deal. I just want to tell you, Tom, we were actually, instead of surgery, between doing that and doing the deep tissue that we do and doing that work, in 6 days, her back was completely healed. And she was supposed to go in, and they wanted to actually take a wire and wrap it around, and then she was going to have some kind of a button or something she would press. because of the pain that was caused because of the nerve damage. Anyways, yeah. I actually have, she actually, you know what she did? She actually sent me the she actually taped the surgeon who was talking to her and telling her that surgery was the only key. So I actually have that with me, and we actually did video with her. So understand, people, this is real. The Avacen is real, and it's all about circulation. It's always been about circulation, okay? Rachel, I have severe PTSD from childhood traumas. Would the Avacen do anything to help with that? Tom, do you mind if I answer before you go? You know, one thing, it's going to teach you how to get into the parasympathetic state. I got to tell you, there's so many people that come that are running fear programs because you got to understand the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will run a program not because it's good for you, not because it's bad for you, but it's the program you've ran the most. And then people don't understand that you've got to go in and you've got to become the master of your subconscious mind, which is 90% of your brain. So a lot of people go, well, this is my personality. And I said, listen, you can change this. And and I'm going to tell you, Tom, you know what she said? I've taken every course to try to change the fear program inside of me. Well, she did my Braveheart course, but do you know what changed her more than that? She would use the Avacen every time she would start to feel fear, anxiety, depression. And you know what she said? Because it works on a physical level, she said, even though I attacked it not from a mental state, I attacked it from a physical state, it actually changed my mental state because I was feeling so at peace with myself so much throughout the day, I wasn't running the old program. Bam. What do you think of that, Tom?
See it all the time.
Yeah.
See it all the time.
Is there anything you want to add to that, though?
Oh, no. Well, you know, we now call it PTS, okay, because it's not a disease, it's not a disorder. And that means that you can resolve these issues from whether it's in the military, which we see a lot. Um, and so anxiety, which you mentioned, is an overwhelming, disabling part of post-traumatic stress. And we do a lot of work with ASD, with autism, and one of the things that incapacitates kids a lot is anxiety. And so I've got some family members, and they've made amazing progress using the Avacen since they were in their early teens until now, and it's just removing the anxiety. I mean, you feel so good. I mean, I've had doctors tell me that they're addicted to the machine. I've got a lady in Brazil. She's a cosmetic surgeon, and she uses it whenever she gets a break. She's so addicted to it. But it makes you feel good, and anything that makes you feel good, that creates oxytocin, is in fact the opposite of what you feel with PTS.
So, so it creates the oxytocin. Do you know how much it creates?
No, I don't. Now
Okay.
that's a very hard thing to measure. Now, I do have a doctor in New England that's doing research for me, but it's really, I mean, you have to go in and do a spinal tap to measure it. I mean, if you're really going to get serious about it. So you don't find a lot of people standing in line to let you do that.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Deborah, how many hours between sessions do you need to wait? I love my Avacen, and I would like to do it as much as possible, and especially for my children and my husband.
Well, I used to say you can't overuse it until I found one lady that decided not to sleep because she just loved the machine. So I suppose you could overuse it if you didn't get any sleep. But you know, most of the protocol for people that have surgeries and things like that is every other hour, just like you mentioned, 30 minutes every other hour. And I've just never, over seven, I think we're over 8 million treatments right now, and we've never seen any adverse events of people using it too much. So I don't know the answer to that. I do know that we typically say you can't overuse it.
Very good.
So I don't know. I don't know what her specific situation is, but you know, every other hour is, you know, if you've got something serious you're addressing, uh, every other hour for a half an hour is probably the max because you need to eat, you need to sleep, and all that good stuff.
Very good. Um, I might answer this one a little bit, and then I'll let you carry it, Tom. Tom from Facebook. In the title of the video, it says COVID-19 Avacen. What does one have to do with the other? It also says microcirculation. Okay. What does one have to do with the other? Well, we know that we're talking about a viral situation, and we know that we're talking about any time that we can increase circulation, we can actually increase detoxification down to the cell level because it's microcirculation. If you can decrease toxicity in the cells, if you can decrease it in the arterioles, the venules, in the lymph system, then we know that we're going to clean up and we're going to have a lot healthier fluid within the body. So we're going to have a lot more oxygen moving around. And we know that that helps against viruses. And so the reason why we put COVID on there, or I did, it was my decision, is it really tells people that this works with viruses. And understand something. One virus is going to come and go, another one's going to come later. So, you know, between viruses and bacteria and other things, it will draw people's attention. So I'm going to use the name, or I'm going to put something in a title that is going to let people know what this works for. And in this time period right now, what if the Avacen is what we say it is? What if the Avacen actually increases the circulation and the health of people and brings up their vibratory level higher than any virus? That's why I put it in there. Tom, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things with COVID-19, of course, is doesn't like heat. Okay, so one of the things that we're doing, we're raising the core body temperature. We're also, once the core body temperature goes above normothermia, that activates the immune system. And by activating the immune system is a good thing. So if you've been using the Avacen for a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, you've built up your immune system. Secondly, we help with providing more oxygen. So when you look at what is the mortality aspects, I just saw a study of 54 people who died from COVID-19. 50 of them died from lack of oxygen in the lungs. Okay, so we don't put oxygen in, but we deliver it. So we go through even a compromised pulmonary system by providing more oxygen. I believe that that's what helps with COVID-19. Now, I put an email out last week to our our thousands and thousands of users, and I asked if anybody had any experience with COVID-19. Some of them thought they did, they weren't diagnosed, but plenty of them just went to bed and used the machine every other hour. And next day they woke up and they were fine. Other ones said the only thing that they noticed, and they've had the machine for a year or two, this is the first season they went through that they don't have their bronchitis, they don't have their CPOD problems that they normally have. They didn't catch the flu this season. Some people who would normally get 2 or 3 bouts of the flu didn't have it. And so I don't have any scientific, well, I do, but I can't talk about it right now. But everything points to the fact that it should help with COVID-19.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gordon from
Gordon
YouTube.
from YouTube.
We're getting an echo.
We're getting an echo.
Good. We're good now. Thank you. Gordon from YouTube. I mean, one of me is enough, actually. Okay. Gordon from YouTube. Would a person who struggles with chronic arthritis due to a motor vehicle accident benefit from using the Avacen?
Well, first of all, we're cleared with the FDA for treating arthritis, and we have a lot. Um, a good percentage of our users first get the device because of arthritis, and it doesn't really matter what causes it. Once it's there, microcirculation will increasing microcirculation will help with the pain associated with arthritis. We have people that have arthritis and their hands are uh, mis they're gnarled, and after 6 months of using it religiously, even the gnarling goes away. So we do really good things with rheumatoid, especially RA, rheumatoid arthritis.
Absolutely. And I can tell you right now that we have patients and they fly to us and or we go to them. We'll send a master trainer to them. But the last patient we had, you can actually see the video that we did and we released it, what, about a week ago, didn't we, Drake? It was a week ago. And her knuckles, okay, you see how big that is? Her knuckles were that big, okay? And with doing the Wolfe non-surgical and with using the Avacen, we use the Avacen 3 times a day. I did, we did just on the one knuckle just to show people because she said she wanted people to see because we did one and it was so amazing. And I'm telling you, the knuckle's that big, Tom. Okay, how's that
Wow.
for big? That was huge. And we did, I did 3 treatments of about 10, 15 minutes each. And we used the Avacen for 3 days. And we had it down, and you can see it. It's all on video, everybody, so there's nothing to hide. And we had it down by about, I'd say, how's 85%? Is that good? Is that fast enough? So
Wow.
understand, we're talking about calcified, hard, scar tissue that people think they got to live with for the rest of their life and, all twisted up. That doesn't have to happen. And if you're all twisted up and you can't get your hand in, we can work on them and get it enough that you can get your hand in the first treatment. And then after that, you just make that puppy run and you make it work for you. You just have to sit back and allow it to increase the circulation like it's never been done before, and you melt the icebergs. End of story. And that's the way it goes. Katia from Facebook, my family of 4 and I share the Avacen on standby mode. How many consecutive 30-minute sessions can you have without overwhelming the device? Also, would you please talk about the possibilities of the Avacen reversing gray hair? Here, have there been testimonials on that, and how soon did they notice a difference? There's a few things here. So first of all, how many 30-minute treatments can we do it without hurting the machine? Okay. And can you talk about any case history studies on gray hair?
Okay, so one of the only moving parts in the machine is the vacuum motor, and we've taken 25 vacuum motors and varied the speed, and for a period of 6 months ran them continuously, and none of them failed in 6 months running 24 hours a day. When we go to do shows, we only give a 10-minute treatment because we want as many people to not get a result, but just get a feeling of what the device is like. And so we'll typically have 3 devices and we'll have people lined up behind it. So we lose a little time changing. So say we do 4 people an hour for 10 hours. We do 40 people straight on each machine. So that's pretty rough. It's a ruggedized machine. So I don't think that that's a problem. I think I remember the other question was about the hair. Um, we have seen hair grow back. I mean, personally, I've got all my brothers are bald and I'm not. So I looked like I was going that way about 5 years ago because I've been Jekyll and hiding my own device forever, and uh, I don't dye my hair, so you can. This is you know, all my other friends are. I'm going to be 75 shortly, and so this is my normal hair. And so how long does it take to get that way? We've had testimonials of people. Um, typically they're treating something else, and then one day they just notice that they don't have the white hair anymore, that their hair is getting black, and that's usually after about 6 months. But they're treating chronic issues.
Absolutely. So everybody, I know everybody, we've had people asking, so I'm just going to show it. Okay. There's the Avacen. Okay. And then what you do is you put your hand in here without jewelry on, and that's it. You turn it on, and then you let it do its thing, and you'd be surprised how many people fall asleep every time they do it. And if you don't fall asleep, you're definitely going to fall into a very passive healing state. Okay. Lori from Facebook, does the Avacen decrease nerve pain?
Well, yeah. So it decreases nerve pain if it's typically some hard muscles or some tight muscles, and because we increase the temperature of the blood, which warms the muscles relax, and the muscles relax because your mean arterial pressure is going down. That's you. So in that case, usually yes. Um, if nerves are funny things. Um, I would say in most cases, it's what's causing the nerve problem. I mean, if you have some major injury to it, to your nerves, over time, I think so. But I know for a fact that nerve issues typically are caused by um, stress. Stress can cause nerve problems, and it's all tightening the muscles and putting pressure on the.
Tom, can I run with this?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, let's understand something. Lactic uric acid, when you don't have proper circulation, it crystallizes. That's a fact. Crystallization, just think about this. The coral reef or glass shards. Why do you think when you have gout, you go to move your toe, it's like excruciating pain? Why do you think if you move a certain way, you've got a nerve pain shooting somewhere? Okay, so what it's got to be is it's got to be either wrapped with scar tissue, so the nerve can't slide properly or move properly, or there's crystallization around it, so you move a certain way or you contract, that crystallization pokes at the nerve, boom, and you think it's nerve pain. I'm going to tell you something right now. There is neuritis where it could be an inflamed nerve. But why is the nerve inflamed? And this is what people don't talk about and don't understand. It's scar tissue, displaced calcium, and crystallization 99% of the time. And I will debate any doctor, anybody on here about that. Because I prove this every day, almost every day. I won't say every day, but I prove it almost every day of the week here at our clinic. And we prove it around the world because we send master trainers around the world to different clinics to teach people and to treat people. So I'm going to tell you, Tom, the health industry really missed it on this one. So understand something, everybody. When you increase circulation, okay, you melt and you soften beef jerky. Okay, why does scar tissue create? Well, scar tissue comes because there's no circulation and there's too much inflammation. Increased circulation gets rid of inflammation. If it gets rid of inflammation, it stops scar tissue formation. And the scar tissue that is there, if you heat something up, you soften it up. It's not beef jerky anymore. You're bringing life back into it. So understand, everybody's got this wrong. And understand something. When you opt to go for surgery or you take drugs, because you forgot that the body heals itself and that circulation is the key. I already told you that we measure how long someone's going to live and how well they're going to live by their circulation. Let me tell you something. Why do they call, hey, that guy's stiff? Yeah, he's stiff. He's dead. Okay, look at her. She's ill. She's sick. She can't get out of bed. Well, that's because she doesn't have circulation, dudes. So you get the circulation up, you get her out of bed. So there it is right there. Okay, let me tell you something. We have our head up our butts so far when it comes to thinking that we know about health. We don't know about health. As far as I'm concerned, the North American population forgot that the body could heal approximately 25 years ago. We have lost faith in ourselves, our healing, and that which created us. And that's my opinion. Okay, next. Kelly from Facebook. Would this be beneficial for autoimmune Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder that causes Hyperthyroidism, well, right off the bat, on an emotional level, yes. Okay, let me tell you something. When people come in to see me and they've had thyroid storm, or they're on the edge of thyroid storm, or they've got a hyperthyroid problem, you can just look at them. They're running anxiety programs to beat the band. It's like somebody coming to you and saying, "Well, I went to the doctor and he says my adrenals are flat, or that my adrenals are wore out." I say, "Yeah, you wore them out. You terrorized your adrenals, you terrorized your thyroid," and that's what we're doing today. And then add blue light onto it, and the blue light decreases the circulation of the thyroid. And yeah, I think that the Avacen would be a really great deal, but it would all be great if you would master your mind. Tom, what do you think?
I don't have any specific experience with grays, so I really can't comment on that. Other than anything that has an immune aspect to it, we do really well at. So I could list probably 5 or 6 things, but I don't want to promote it for off-label purposes here in the United States.
Okay, great. Next question. Are there any bad side effects? From Kim.
Okay. Like I say, we've done over 8 million treatments right now, and we have never had an adverse event. Because you have to understand, when I invented this, and I invented it actually for older people, and I invented it for somebody who had migraines. And so what I did, and there were some restrictions on the mechanism of action, how much heat I could put in the body, but I used all natural adaptations of the body, other than the only hack I do is with a vacuum on the palm of your hand. But everything else uses all the natural adaptations of the body. So when people ask, well, can I use this? First thing I ask them, has your doctor prohibited you from moderate exercise? If he hasn't, then go ahead. So that's really the rule of thumb.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. Ella from Facebook. Do you believe it is possible for the Avacen to support certain conditions well enough that you would no longer have to continue with any pharmaceuticals and could rely solely on the Avacen, or is that not recommended?
Um, Another way to phrase that: do we cure anything? Um, I can't say that we cure anything, and there's a number of reasons I can't say that. But um, one of the benefits, and this is truly a wellness device, is that if you get it for a certain purpose and you feel after a while you don't need it, if you drop using a device, you'll find out that you probably do need it. But on the other hand, for all of the positive things that we do, like increasing microcirculation and allowing more perfusion in the capillaries, which creates something called functional capillary density, that we increase it. Um, you really want to keep using it. There are certain situations where people have told me they no longer get, let's say, migraines, which was patient number one. But I don't know what caused that. I mean, there's so many different changes in the body that could cause that. So we never advertise that we cure anything, but we certainly can treat the symptoms, and we certainly can make the body healthier. And then along with that, with a healthy lifestyle, uh, you've got the gold ring.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if there is such a thing as a cure. I wouldn't even want to go down that road. I would say to people that you are the cure. You just need to allow your body to do its job. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, let's get rid of the blocks that are stopping it from just carrying out its day-to-day operations. And so one of the really big things would be increase the circulation. Mary from Facebook. My husband cut his hand years ago. He had surgery on his hand, and he has one finger where the nerve was cut and had hardly any feeling in the finger. Would the Avacen help bring the feeling in his finger back? Can I answer this one? Do you mind,
Yeah,
Tom?
go ahead.
Okay, all right.
I'll try not to tactfully answer that.
Right off the bat, I think it's teamwork makes the dream work. If I don't know if you live in our area, but I will be coming to Florida to do my full certification course in October. So if you're around Orlando, I'll tell you what we'll do. You come and I'll work on your husband's finger for 10 to 15 minutes with Wolfe Non-Surgical. We'll put his hand in the Avacen, and I promise you, and we'll do a Facebook right then, everybody, and just to prove it. So, or I'll also be in California in November, or I'll be in Toronto in May, or you could come here to Kelowna. But I will tell you that in, let's say 10 to 15 minutes with Wolfe Non-Surgical, we'll do a half an hour with the Avacen. Between the teamwork of me and the Avacen, we'll give you back 80% of your feeling to 90% of your feeling in that first treatment. Good enough? I think so. Understand something. Your body's amazing. It's all about scar tissue. It's all about crystallization. Every time, I want everybody to get this, and this is why the Avacen is so important. So I think that even some of the people that have been in health for 30, 40, 50 years do not get this. Your body loves you so much. Okay? It loves you so much that whenever you injure yourself, it overcompensates. It overcompensates the healing. It just gets so excited to heal you. So no matter what you have, whether it's a sports accident, a car accident, or you've had an inflammatory diet or an inflammatory mind, your body's going to try to overcompensate the healing all the time. So whenever your the inflammation comes down, or the surgery or the accident starts to cool down and the healing starting to take place, you're always going to have a ton of scar tissue left behind and crystallization. And that's why this machine's invaluable, because you're not going to have one of my therapists or me around all the time. But the reality is that circulation softens things up, brings things back to life, and it melts the crystals. It also helps to bring down the inflammation, so you're not pulling the calcium. Okay, first of all, osteoporosis is caused because you pull calcium from your bones because you're inflamed. And you're inflamed because your circulation isn't any good. The more blocks you get, the more inflammation you have. And that's how this works. It's so simple. So there's a lot of things that even people who sell Avacens don't even understand what's going on yet. So the reality is, I've been working with the human body, and I brought my, this Wolfe Non-Surgical out when I was 27 years old. So I know about scar tissue crystallization and displaced calcium, and this all can be reversed. And understand something. The greatest weapon you'll ever have is if we could invent something that would increase the circulation. I think we got it. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Does Avacen have any effects on weight problems?
The answer is yes, but it's a specific group of people that we found, those that are morbidly obese. We have some amazing responses in weight loss, but unfortunately it doesn't stay. Gosh, I wish it would. But no, I mean, if you're morbidly obese, it'll kickstart your weight loss program, reduce your girth really fast. But other than a normal person that doesn't have the metabolism to keep up or doesn't work at the metabolism, I have to be honest and say, not really.
I think that would all change, though, if you change your mind, and then your mind changed your diet, and then, it's like this. The Avacen is the Avacen. Don't ask it to try to increase circulation with a wall of cement in front of it. Okay? All right? We got to be logical. Deborah from Facebook, what is the lifespan of the Avacen?
Well, okay, so for our FDA clearance, we had to give a useful life, and a reasonable useful life economically is 5 years. We've tested the device using heat and a heat chamber, and we've gone 15 years and we just stopped. So,
all right, great.
Unless you run over, like I say, unless you run over it with your car or something like that, or drop it off the Empire State Building, that's going to keep on. It's going to be the Energizer Bunny, I guess. Just keep on going.
Thank you, Tom. Karen, once you feel your condition has improved and are at stable point of health and circulation, would you have to continue to use it for the rest of your life to maintain a stable circulatory system? Or could you cut back, stop, or altogether without having your condition return? Does your body become dependent on it? Tom, do you mind if I and then let you take over?
Oh, I want to holler at this one. Yeah, go ahead. You go first.
No, you holler first. I want to hear you holler. Go ahead.
Oh my God, why on earth would you ever want to stop something? Number one, you've already purchased it. Number two, you've already more than likely had great results. And number three, you know that it's going to make you healthier and healthier and healthier every day of your life. So I don't know why you'd ever want to stop it. You're
And
not going to go backwards.
yeah, really. And here's the deal, okay? I don't know. Should we stop eating well? Should we stop lightly exercising? Should we stop getting our rest? Should we stop increasing our circulation? I don't know about you, but I'm tending on living over 100. And the reality is guess what? I'm not going to live over 100 with a respirator, and I'm not going to live over 100 with a bloody walker, and nobody's going to be wiping my butt either. Thank you very much. So I think I'll just keep the Avacen running and running and running. And the reality is everybody, I want you to get something, and this is the God's truth. Will I get older? Yes, but will I get old? No, thanks. I'm opting out. Okay. So the reality is that guess what? Whether you believe it or not, maybe not my parents, because by then everything was new and improved, and my parents got totally poisoned over that. But before them, my relatives were all passing on in their 90s, in their sleep, with a smile on their face. And you know what? And that was it. That was it. When I was younger, when I was a little kid, okay, it was rare for me to see anybody with a cane or a walker. Definitely no scooters. And yeah, so understand, when X-Lax came in, everything went downhill and down the toilet fast. Okay? All right.
Yeah, I think the other thing with the Avacen device, unlike a pharmaceutical or a pill, you can't really share a pill with people you love, but you can share the Avacen. So why would you want to deprive them of the benefits of this, whatever they are?
And you know what? She says, would you become dependent on it? Yeah, like breathing. Okay? You become dependent on it because let's not forget something. Even the person who is smoking thinks they're doing it to create more joy in their life. But the reality is, here's a habit that only has great side effects to it. And remember something, there's not one thing you do in your life that you don't think that you're creating joy. I mean, you know what? Tell me, even having a great big bowel movement, man, you couldn't be happier. Okay? So the reality is everything we do is about having a beautiful day. Okay, Tom, does the Avacen produce any radiation? As you mentioned, it has a complex computer.
No, absolutely not. I mean, one of the things when you go through FDA clearance, you have to do what's called an EMC test, which is is for additional radiation.
Yeah.
I mean, our device, like other devices you mentioned, you can have a pacemaker; it's not going to affect it. There's absolutely no radiation. We use convection heat caused by resistors. Very safe.
Beautiful. From Jim, that just came in from YouTube. Dr. Wolfe, can you please show the Avacen again, and how much is it? And I missed it, but my wife said that you have it on sale. Hold on. So this is the Avacen. I'll show you. Okay. There you go. And then you put your hand in here. It's so easy to use. Okay. And anybody can use it. And that's it. And you can do up to a half an hour. And it's $4,000. And we're taking $500 off for, we've got 20 of them that we're going to sell at that price, and then also free shipping. That's it. Next question, Brad, does it help prevent genetic conditions such as Alzheimer's?
Okay, I have to again.
They're testing you, Tom. They're testing you.
No, I know the answer. Okay, but I'm trying to figure out how to put this so I don't get in trouble with making an off-label claim. And if you think, and if you look at all the research, so I'm going to talk about it this way. If you look about all the research on Alzheimer's and dementia for that fact, and we have a lot of testimonials on that. There's something called brain resuscitation, and the biggest brain resuscitation you think about is when somebody drowns. And when you get older and you get these situations that are neurological misfunctions in the brain resuscitation is still appropriate at that point in time. So if you had a device that increases microcirculation and delivers oxygen to these very important neurological functions in your body, the answer should be yes.
Thank you. Um, would the Avacen be equally affected on someone who does not want to eat a healthy diet as it would be on someone who follows the perfect day diet? There you go.
You're talking about me, aren't you? Okay, so um, my functional capillary density is that of like I say, I'm almost 75 now. My functional capillary density, which means the amount of small vessels that are feeding the cells in the body, is that of somebody in their 25 and 30 years old. I've had that measured. And that's not telomeres, but that functional capillary density is, in fact, um, uh, the new gold standard for figuring how long you're going to live, longevity. Um, um, I drink too much wine. I don't exercise because I'm always doing research. Okay, but I have a machine that takes care of that. So yes, there are benefits for people like me.
There you go. John from YouTube. I'm epileptic. Would it help with calming my seizures?
Uh, it, I have people that report that.
Okay. Tim, my dad is a double amputee. Would he be able to put his foot in the Avacen and get the same effect?
Actually, you won't be able to get your foot in there. Um, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. The and I hope that wasn't because of diabetes. Uh, but anyway, um, you just can't get your foot in it. And the reason we didn't do that, that's probably even a larger question. Um, our device uses a unique vascular function that's primarily in the palms of your hands and the bottom of your feet, which are your body's radiators. And so if you think about it at night, first of all, the palms and the feet hold a lot of blood. And so if you think about it at night, if you're too warm in bed, you stick your foot out. You stick your foot out because your hypothalamus does your thermal regulation of the body, and it puts a lot of blood in the bottom of your foot. That the blood in the bottom of your foot corresponds to the second law of thermodynamics. That says heat goes to cold. And so you've got all this blood in the bottom of your foot. It goes off into let's say it's 90 degrees or so, or I'm sorry, 89, 90 degrees, somewhere around there. And your room is 70 degrees or 72 degrees. All that heat will go out of your body, and that's how your body cools itself down. So theoretically, the bottom of the feet, and that's an excellent question, even if it wasn't for a double amputee, the bottom of your feet are as much your body's radiators as the palms of your hands. But in the bottom of your feet, you have calluses, you've got because you were walking, you don't walk on your hands, thank God. You walk on your feet. So you've got all kinds of skin problems. So it's the heat doesn't transfer into the blood to warm up the blood in the bottom of the feet. And then as you get older, which is what I developed this device, you've got a compromised vascular system in your legs. Okay, so to get that warm blood in the bottom of the feet up to the heart, which is going to distribute that warm blood throughout the body, is is a task that is not as efficient as the hands. So not only can't you put your foot in it, it wouldn't at all be as effective as warming the palms of your hands.
Great. What are the psychological benefits of using the Avacen?
Well, first of all, it's going to calm you, and in a time like now, uh, when people are under a lot of stress, that affects the immune system. So you've heard this over and over again. A stressful life is going to cause an unhealthy life. And so by warming the blood and relaxing the body, reducing the mean arterial pressure in the body, the stress dissipates rather quickly. So um, I hope that answers the question. I mean, psychologically, if you're free of stress and you're more relaxed and the anxiety has gone away, you're going to feel much more. You're going to feel much better.
Thank you. Wendy from Facebook, my dog has a heart condition and sometimes has trouble breathing. Could he use it or would it not help? I don't know if you could put, no, I don't think so, eh?
No, that's one of the
No,
two questions I ask the most. I get asked the most.
right.
Yeah, and it's really sad because um, we'd have to. As a matter of fact, I have a veterinarian who loves our device, but uh, he keeps asking me, well, what if I put the tail in and warm it up? What if I did this or that, or put a chamber where you could put the animal in? The fact is that at least for dogs, you really need to put the tongue in the device. I mean, that's where the most arterial venous anastomosis is, where you have the most blood that you can. In fact, I mean, that's why you see a dog hanging their tongue out when they're overheated, because this is doing the same thing as the example I gave you on the bottom of your foot when you're too hot. So the answer is no. Unfortunately, it makes me very sad to say that.
Thank you,
So
Tom.
I love pets, love animals.
Yeah, me too. Charlie, what would Avacen do for someone with Parkinson's?
We have a lot of feedback on people with Parkinson's, and there's so many different reasons and causes. I guess the quick answer is um, we have a number of people that uh, claim that they are getting excellent benefits from it,
Very good.
but not everybody. It's not a big percentage. I'd say maybe it's 40%. Of course, if you're in that 40%, it is a big percentage.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You know, really, what it's all about here is, we have a lot of different shows and we bring on a lot of different things, but actually, it's about just coming and having the best life ever. You know, trying to create that perfect day from the minute you wake up until you go to bed. I mean, it's so beautiful to see people we see children with smiles on their face all day long. Wouldn't it be a beautiful world if we could see smiles on adults' face, or at least a slight smile on their face for most of the day? Because that's the measurement of life and the measurement of joy. And really, that's all this show's about. It's all about just doing that. So, this may not be for everyone, but you know what? There's different ways to get to the top of the mountain. So, but understand this that take massive action to totally find that peace, that calm, that feeling of loving your life, whatever that is. Jay from Facebook, does the Avacen help with lymph problems? I think we answered that already, but I'll let you answer that, Tom, if you want.
Um, I believe it does. I mean, if you look at getting the toxins out of your body and getting rid of interstitial fluid, that's all a function of lymph, and we've seen that over and over again.
Thank you. Jane, is it recommended for diabetics? So that's a follow up of what you just talked about.
Yes, I, I assume you're talking about type 2 diabetics. And in that respect, we've just finished a long research project. And the first, it's an A and a B group. The A group is our control group, and it was healthy people using the device to see what the reduction of blood glucose was. And then the B group was finished after that, and that was um, people with pre-diabetics and diabetics. So I know the answer to that, and the answer is yes.
Thank you. Dan, will it help with heart disease or angina or any other type of heart disorders?
Well, if you look at reducing blood glucose on diabetics all leads to cardiovascular issues. And so anytime there's a therapy called Wayon therapy. It'd be good to look it up. It's WAON. But don't put in wayontherapy.com because you're going to come to the Avacen site. Or maybe you should put it in. I don't know. But if you look up Wayon therapy, that's the effect of that is 15 minutes of heat in a sauna, which there's side effects to that. But 15 minutes of heat at 140 degrees, which is low for a sauna, and then they take you out and they wrap you in a thermal blanket and replenish your liquids. It's done under medical supervision, but the Japanese have been doing this now for 20 years. They have hospitals in Japan that just do weigh-on therapy, and the research from that on the repair of cardiovascular issues is phenomenal. And we do basically the same thing. So I'm saying that if weigh-on therapy does it, then the answer should be yes for the Avacen.
Thank you, Tom. Jim, can it help with COPD?
Um, well, yeah, I know the answer to that too. And in our research on COVID-19 that we're getting from people using our device, um, a lot of people wrote that it's very much helping with COPD, helping with people who actually had other lung problems, um, and even getting rid of the scar tissue that's been there for 20 years. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Back to melting, back to microcirculation, melts scar tissue formation, gets rid of crystallization, helps to loosen
Right.
up that displaced calcium. Lori from Facebook, I don't know if this would help, Tom, but tell me what you think. Would this help with exposure to mold resulting in breathing issues? Well, yeah, the breathing issues, but I don't know about the mold. What do you think, Tom?
I don't have any experience with that. I mean, people with chlamydia claim that it does. That's just mold in your blood, and I think any time that you've got toxins in your body, whether they're caused by metal or they're caused by mold, as long as you increase that microcirculation and you get rid of those toxins over a period of time, the answer should be yes. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Um, Cam from YouTube, is this more effective than a hyperbaric chamber?
Well, the answer to that is in conjunction, they do amazing things. One of our biggest commercial customers are our hyperbaric chamber facilities. And what they do is they put you in the hyperbaric chamber, they fill your blood with oxygen, and we deliver that oxygen. Where they have problems delivering the oxygen, they can fill you up with oxygen and it'll help. And I can give you example after example of things where hyperbaric chamber wouldn't work, and in conjunction with hyperbaric oxygen, we just do amazing things.
Thank you. Ron from Facebook, I guess this unit would enhance the healing of the chronically ill. I think we've answered that, and yes, it would. Anything that's going to increase your microcirculation is going to decrease your toxicity and increase your nutrition and the delivery of the oxygen. Tom?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Jesse from Facebook, I have a severe anxiety disorder, and it is currently out of control due to the pandemic and everything going on at this stressful time. Would the Avacen help me calm down my anxiety?
Absolutely. Get your hand in it as soon as you can.
Thank you, Tom. So, Tom, we're at the end. That's our last question. What would you like to leave everybody with?
Well, I think the common denominator for all of these questions is if you had increased microcirculation, would they resolve your issues? And the answer is yes. So if you have anything that oxygen and nutrients can get to the cell level and make you better, you can answer your own question. You don't have to answer these questions. You don't have to have me or Dr. Wolfe answer the questions. I would just, it's a non-risk situation. Just get your hand in one as soon as you can. It'll prove it for yourself.
Thank you, Tom. And I'd like to tell everybody something, and this is this. Do you ever notice that there's certain parts of your body that go really cold? Well, that's because there's such a physical block inside of you, not allowing the oxygen, not allowing the circulation to get there anymore. Now, do you ever notice that before you get really cold, that part of the body can be inflamed for years? Okay, and that's draining your immune system. Now, that inflammation is due to infection. Okay, so too much infection creates inflammation. Inflammation then leads to scar tissue formation, crystallization, and displaced calcium. Now, if that goes on for years, that creates the dam, the beaver dam, the block. And when you have that not a partial block, but almost a full block in that part of the body, the area is going to get cold because there's just not getting its circulation anymore. So you need to understand something. Anytime that you can melt this or soften it up, it's all about bringing life back. You know, it's like this. The Avacen won't get rid of scar tissue because scar tissue is created through lack of microcirculation within the tissue itself. Restore the microcirculation, and it's not like the scar tissue floats away or it has to go anywhere. It's just that you brought scar tissue as something dead, not dead, but in comatose. And then when you create the microcirculation, it just brings it back to life. And it's like, wow, I was so stiff in that joint. I couldn't give full extension. I couldn't do full flexion. Okay. Grandpa, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I don't feel a thing. Well, he was in pain for years, and then the scar tissue and the calcification, the crystallization took over, and he's not in pain anymore because his body said, hey, you know what? He can't stay in pain like this because if he does, he'll have no energy, he'll have no immune system, and that means he'll be attacked. So then your body creates all the scar tissue crystallization and calcification. So now you're numbed out. So now what's going to happen, microcirculation comes in, you'll start to feel the tingling, you might even feel a little bit of pain. Even when you start using the Avacen, you might be going, oh my gosh, this Avacen is causing a little pain in my arm or my shoulder. Okay, well, just take a break. Tippy toe, put your hand in. Okay, I can't take any more pain. Okay, give it a break. Now go back a half hour later and do it again, and then do it again. Oh my God, within one day, 24 hours later, you're going, yeah, I got this. Okay, so it's like this, just trying to get the right flow. Okay, if I stand on a hose, my body still wants that same blood flow to go through. So now you've increased your microcirculation, and it's trying to squeeze through, and because you're shutting down somewhere, you're going to feel a little bit of pain. Do not worry. You're never going to be threatening your life. It's not like that. It's just going in and going, yeah, we're here. We're going to turn this around. We're going to love you well. And that's all I would like to say. And I'd like to thank Tom for taking the time, because he's so snapping busy, to come on my show and to answer these questions for me today. Tom, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very much. I appreciate you so much, Doctor.
And we appreciate Tom and myself. We appreciate everybody else. And you know what? I got to tell you something. At the end of the day, I know people don't believe this, but I think they're going to start to feel like this more. Oh my God, we need to become family. We need to, it's okay that I have a different belief than you do. I love you anyway. Okay? It's okay that you have a different colored skin. It's okay that you speak a different language, that you eat different food. It's got to be okay. And we've got to unite as family, because this is why we got into this place. Okay? The day that we can totally love ourselves well and observe without judgment will be the day that we create the perfect day for the perfect life for all of us. God bless. And I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Tomorrow I'm going to be on with Peter Webb, and we're going to be talking about how we can actually neutralize harmful frequencies that are coming into our body. Okay? God bless everyone. And just know this, okay? The power is yours. 3, 2, 1. Stop giving it away. Stop giving your power away. And understand something. You got way more inside of you than you can even dream of. Every morning I get up, I go, Darrell, this is it. You're going farther. You're going to do more, because never forget what created you and what you were created for. Have a beautiful day. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.